Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to demonstrate the step-by-step process to easily implement text-to-speech into your application using OpenAI and Python. By the end of this video, you'll have all the information you need to bring your app to life with a realistic AI voice. Adding voice to certain types of applications can be a real game changer with respect to user experience and accessibility. In my opinion, OpenAI offers some of the most realistic computer-generated voices available to developers. The pricing is also very reasonable. Standard definition costs 1.5 cents per 1,000 characters, and HD costs 3 cents per 1,000. The first thing I want to do is take a look at the documentation. Go to platform.openai.com/docs. In the left sidebar, scroll down and click Text to Speech. This audio API provides a speech endpoint to OpenAI's text-to-speech model. It comes with 6 built-in voices, and it can be used for a variety of purposes like narrating, producing spoken audio in multiple languages, and also real-time audio output. You can scroll down to the different voices here. 6 different voices. You can test them out. My personal favorite is Nova, which I just find is the most realistic. The API supports multiple output formats and also supports multiple languages. So if you need to generate speech in a foreign language, you just add the text written in that foreign language and the OpenAI model automatically detects it and converts it. Up here in the quick start section is where we get the code. We're going to be accessing the model in Python, but you can also access it in JavaScript and curl. I'm just going to copy this code. I'll go to my VS Code terminal. I already have a folder TTS that I'm going to work in, and I'll create a file called main.py. For now, I'll just paste this code inside. There are a few things we're going to have to do to set up the development environment before we start creating voices. One of these is we're going to have to install some libraries. We're going to need OpenAI, which is where we're getting the text-to-speech model. We're going to use Pygame to automatically play the audio that's generated. And then we're going to use python.env just to handle the API key. Before I install these, I'm going to open up a terminal so that I can create and activate a virtual environment. Now I'll install these libraries with pip. And that should be good. The other thing that I'm going to need in order to use the OpenAI library is an API key. For this, you're going to need an account on OpenAI if you don't have one already. Go back to the documentation and just click sign up and create an account. I already have one, so I'll just log in with my Google. Once this is done, click dashboard, and then on the left sidebar, click API keys. Click create new secret key. You can give it a name, which is optional, and also assign it to a specific project. And then click Create Secret Key. Once this is done, copy the key. I'm going to go back to my VS Code, click New File, and create a .env file. This is where I'm going to store my API key. I'll call it OpenAI API key equals, and then just paste in my key and save. Then I'll go back to main.py. I'm going to import load.env from the .env library. Also import the OS library, and then I can load my secret API key from the .env file using load.env. This line here, client equals OpenAI. This is where we're going to create an instance of the OpenAI client, and I'll have to give it the API key. And to do this, I'll just use os.getEnv and then give it the name of my OpenAI key from the .env file. And that should be all set up and we're ready to go. So just walking through this code here, it's all fairly simple. This speech file path, this just essentially creates a file path so that we can save the recording to our current directory with the name speech.mp3. This response client.audiospeech.create, this is where we are accessing the text-to-speech OpenAI endpoint. We're giving it the model TTS1. We can also choose HD. I'm actually going to do that. We can select one of the 6 voices. By default, it's Alloy. I'm going to change this to Nova. And then this here is our input text, which is just today is a wonderful day to build something people love. I'll also add here, it's also nice to learn how to use the OpenAI API or OpenAI text to speech. So this creates the audio recording and this actually streams it to a file. But right now, if we were to just run this, this is not going to work. If I hover over here, it says the method stream to file in this class is deprecated due to a bug. It doesn't actually stream the content. And this is true. My understanding is that this is more of an issue with Python than it is with the OpenAI library, but there is a quick fix to this. So the message here is asking us to use the with streaming response method. And what we can do to use this is we're just going to add this here. So client.audio.speech, and then we're going to add .with streaming response.create. We're going to put this in a with statement, and then we'll just say as response. And we will adjust this and take out response equals, of course. So this should work now with client.audio.speech.with streaming response create. We have all of our inputs as response, and then it outputs response stream to file. So this actually saves the file. I'm going to save this, and then we can just run this in the terminal. Python main.py. And it creates this speech.mp3 file, and now we can play it.
Today is a wonderful day to build something people love. It's also nice to learn how to use the OpenAI text-to-speech.
That's not too bad. So again, you have 2 different model options here. You can use TTS1, which is the standard definition, or TTS1 HD, which is high definition. The high definition, of course, is more expensive, but it's also slower. So depending on your application, if you're prioritizing a speedy response, then you'll probably want to use the standard definition. But if speed is not a factor, then high definition might make more sense. The next thing I want to do is set this up so that it will automatically play the audio. To do this, I'm going to use Pygame. I'll import Pygame, and then after the audio is created, I'll initiate a Pygame mixer. Then I'll load the audio path with pygame.mixer.music.load, and then I'll play the audio with pygame.mixer.music.play. And I'm also going to add this code here so that the mixer doesn't shut down before the audio finishes playing. And I'll import the time library. And maybe I'll add different text here, like today we are learning to code text to speech. I'll save, and then I'll run this again from the terminal.
Today we are learning to code text to speech.
Good, and that was just done automatically without me having to go to the audio file and press the play button, which is what you would want for your application. Now, depending on your application, you're probably not going to use Pygame in order to play this. If this is a web application, you'll likely use a JavaScript library and play it from the client, but this is sufficient for our purposes. Now, finally, what I want to do is wrap all of this code into a function. We'll call this text to speech, and this function is going to take the text string as input. It will also allow us to choose the model. We'll choose the TTS1 as default, and also the voice, and we can choose Nova as the default. And we'll just make the adjustments here. Model equals model, voice equals voice, and then the input equals text. There we go. Now we can just create and play audio as we're generating text. We can test this out one final time. Adding voice to your chatbot can really bring it to life and improve the user experience. And then just text to speech. Text model equals, we'll do the TTS1 HD, and then we'll keep the Nova voice. Okay, Great, now I will save this and run it again from the terminal.
Adding voice to your chatbot can really bring it to life and improve the user experience.
Perfect. So now that it's wrapped in a function, you could import this into another module, into your application, and just generate your audio as you're generating text. And the text may come from a variety of different sources. Maybe you're using OpenAI to do text generation for your chatbot. But regardless, now you can give your application a voice that is fairly realistic and really improve the user experience. Okay, great. I hope that you found that useful. If you have any questions or any comments, please post something in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're interested in this type of content. If there are any other videos you'd like me to make, I'd love to hear about that as well. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.